How are you doing today, friends? Ah, that sounds amazing. Wow, well done. I'm very proud of you. I am recording this because I just wanted to talk about my experience with the whole Penny D situation. Because of community guidelines, I can't talk about the whole situation, but I wanted to talk about how it's been for me during these times. Just a disclaimer, it's me specifically. I'm just here to sort of talk about things because I haven't really seen too many people talk about it. There are other creators, definitely, that have spoken around this topic. For example, when Instagram changed its algorithm, how it hurt new aspiring artists and or creators. Since we weren't showing up on people's feeds, because that's how Instagram sort of changed the algorithm, I don't really know how it sort of worked, but it really harmed new and budding artists, at least, to try and get the elevation, the reach that we used to previously. And beyond that, all we have at the end of the day is those immaterial likes or reactions that might push our art onto some front page, which obviously that has been always a thing. But when Instagram changes it like this, when platforms work like this, it obviously hinders our ability to get more reach. Like I said, managing yourself online has always been really hard, since you have to do literally everything for yourself. Managing yourself, absolutely. Having your own business, obviously, you're doing everything yourself until you have enough money to hire other people. At the moment, obviously, with the Penny D, there isn't really a way of escaping social media. We are sort of stuck with the things that we build, and that's it. So that's what I would like to talk about. So the problems that I think we face at the moment, or I've faced, is that all of my support has been entirely online. I thought the other day when I posted something and everyone was saying it was great, it was like an episode of Black Mirror in my head. I don't know, the comparison is very popular, but it sort of just hit me for some reason. How deep it is, how deep I am into purely existing online, really, in terms of if you're not really living with people who support your dreams, then you're stuck in a battle with reality and social media. The idea that social media is immaterial is very harmful. If social media wasn't entirely immaterial, then it means that those who support you online don't matter. Their opinions don't matter, and neither does your effort to make others happy online, right? So at the end of the day, social media is as material as any social aspect of existence. It has to be this way. Because conversations, for example, with a person who exists in your proximity are just as immaterial as those who shout across who you would shout across a field to. And your emotional response to these situations might be different, but that doesn't invalidate the importance of these emotional responses, right? So at the end of the day, it doesn't really help to see social media as an immaterial thing. It's very much more material than I think at least people older than us who didn't grow up with it, who don't, who weren't forced into having to rely on it, don't understand just how material it is and how much we rely on it and how sensical it makes. Socially, I think another problem is you can't take any social media breaks, like I mentioned before, because it's literally your job. And then all other socializing is online too. Which means, for me at least, I have not been talking to my friends much at all, because I'm exhausted by social media. I don't want to be constantly on there. I end up playing games or just creating something. Like this, for example, this video. I can't just constantly be online, because it's... I don't know why, but it's just talking to people all the time. If you're talking to people in real life all the time. So a second thing is about constantly socializing online is I live in the middle of nowhere, so I can't really stream or play games online. I can't stream at all. So I can't actively be conversing with people. I can only put things out there for people to respond to. And in terms of playing games, that would be sort of the only outlet where you're engaging with your friends. So for people like me who are in a similar situation where we don't have good internet to do these kinds of things, we are seriously restricted to just social media. Which brings me on to my third point, that this impedes the motivation to put your art out there and to produce it even, because you're constantly pushing yourself over and over again to get things done. And that does become monotonous, because there's only such a point. You can get to a point where you're telling yourself the same things over and over again, and then your brain just stops listening to them. You have to come up with different ways to motivate yourself. So like this YouTube channel, it's taken me ages to get to a point where I feel safe enough and where I've found the right things for myself to motivate myself to talk and to make proper videos. Like this one. This is my first actual video where I'm talking about something that I care about. I just don't have the motivation to do anything sort of more than what I can, which is absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. And telling yourself that over and over again, it does get exhausting, really, in many ways. And another problem is you can't go out and get inspiration from things like events. I don't know what kind of events people go to, but I used to go to like charity things. You can't go to places, you can't go somewhere that you would find aesthetic motivation to make art, you can't talk to your friends, you know. And I personally get my motivation from talking to people and just relaxing in a public space. I'm not exactly extroverted, because then my introvert side kicks in and I have to come home exhausted. But there is that sort of rejuvenation, that motivation. Again, it's motivating yourself through just living, really. Beyond this, on the flip side, obviously, some of us have more time to do these things. I would not have done any of this if it weren't for Panny D, because, you know, it has granted me this ability to pursue the sort of art that I've always wanted to do, because I was never able to do it. And now here I am, and if I am motivated like I am now, and I have the means, I bought myself a new microphone, you know, I've just slowly invested and accumulated, then we can create some truly beautiful things. And we can help people who don't have the time to create things, if in whatever way that we can find, which I think is absolutely amazing. And hopefully this is one thing that we can take away after things are going back to quote-unquote normal, is helping people create things in the ways that we have been doing. I don't know. I think that's a bit of a different topic, definitely. But for myself, it's just taught me to get things done. You know? Like, having every sort of, like dream. Not necessarily dreams, but things I was going to do this last year. It's taught me that if I want to do something, then I should just go and do it, because like anything could happen. I'm not really able to juggle more than pushing out videos and creating art for Instagram and doing commissions and updating Patreon. But whatever I can do, I do it when I can, when I'm motivated. Because sometimes you can do something, but you're too scared or too depressed or too nervous or just anything. It's all an umbrella, it's all a cloud, it's a spectrum, whatever. But it's okay to feel those emotions. It's okay to give yourself space and time. If you push yourself too hard, then you end up taking steps back, and that's something that I certainly did, because I was getting to a point where I could do tutorials, and then it hit me where I needed to get some money, and I didn't know what I was doing with my future. Thankfully, I've got all that sorted out now. But I ended up overstepping and asking too much of myself and going into sort of the red zone. And that really brought me back, because I couldn't get back into that space that I was in before. It did motivate me, to really get this done did pushing myself too far, but it also hindered the progress that I could have made during that time, you know, where I was healing. But at the end of the day, I really think you just really deserve to be able to bundle yourself up in some blankets and relax and have your hot chocolate or whatever you like and just feel safe. That's what you deserve. I think it comes down to motivation. And we find that motivation in whatever we can do. The small things. It definitely comes down to the small things, I think. And us as artists, the only thing we can do then, if you post it online and we can say that's beautiful and we can share your art, that's what we really can do for each other at the moment, definitely. And hopefully the people that can afford your art, whatever, can pay for it, you know, and just getting that awareness and helping each other raise that awareness. Because we have all of social media to do this. Unfortunately, of course, it takes labour for us to support each other, and that's really the cycle, isn't it? We just support and support and support each other so that none of us gets burnt out from this labour. I don't know. If you have a circle like that, I think this is very good. I don't think this video is supposed to really come to any conclusions, but I just wanted to open up a sort of dialogue on it and ask you what you thought, how you've been affected by the last year, almost 2 years going now. Obviously everyone is in such different situations. I'm just going to be pushing myself and trying to get out there. And I really appreciate it for you coming back and listening to me just rant and watching these videos. I really do owe you. Maybe one day I'll be able to do something for it. Give you something. Maybe do a little giveaway. I have no idea. But if you subscribe to my Patreon, then I can give you free stuff. Woo! Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a nice day, night, whatever, if you sleep well, if you've just been falling asleep. Take care of yourself. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.